Well, welcome back, everyone. It's Friday. That means that Bob Freeman is here to join me to talk about a subject that I can't talk about unless you're here, Bob.
Well, you know a little bit about basketball, right?
Yeah,
A petite amount of
yeah,
basketball.
but I don't know why they shaped the football. Is that what they call it?
Football?
No, okay.
No basketball.
All right. Well, why don't we,
wrong subject, but
let's get to the task
getting
at
there.
hand. We're going into our second game tonight and our first girls' game, and it's very exciting. But let's do two things. Let's talk about what happened last week, and then let's get into tonight's game. Last week.
All right, so last week we saw Lake George Argyle. If you remember last year, an overtime game. This year, Argyle, a lot of guys graduated. They started a younger team. They had, I believe, 3 or 4 sophomores starting on that team. Coach Jack Sherwin, a great coach, dealing with a lot of younger players. So we were talking about beforehand, as you break down that game, you look for the high points for Argyle as they develop this season and then the next couple of seasons when you'll have a lot of seniors on that team. The second quarter, they outscored Lake George 18-16.
Yeah.
But what Lake George was able to do really well, Joel Winkowski, 37 points in that game. He's the leader of the team. You saw him barking orders to his players on the court throughout the game. And Lake George was able to play at a fast pace that Argyle just couldn't keep up with. Argyle tried to keep up with that pace. A lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes, and that's what led to Lake George winning that game.
You know, in watching the game, I noticed two things. First, is stamina. You know, you got a young team with Argyle, and a lot of potential, it looks like.
Definitely.
But the other thing is, how do you stop Joel Winkowski? Can you even stop this kid?
Well, exactly, and it's the E word that we use, experience. Joel Winkowski has that experience, and he also has the support from the rest of his teams. Bigger guys to get the rebounds at the hoop. Lake George had second and third chances, and that's what really helped them pull quickly ahead, and plus outstanding shooting from beyond the arc.
You know, I know they won, but it was a good game to watch. It was,
Definitely a good game.
Really a good game to watch. Tonight, we're excited. It's girls basketball, something that we really want to cover here at Look Media. And toward that end, it's Lake George again, girls team.
Correct.
And Fort Edward, right?
Yeah, Lake
Pretty
George,
good matchup.
It should be a great matchup. Last year, the game was won on a buzzer beater shot, so we're hoping to see that same excitement this year. And on paper, this game should be pretty close.
It should. Give me some sense about what we would look for in this game. They're both coming in 2-0, right? 2-0.
Yep. Yeah, I established some keys to the game. The keys to the game for me are free throws. Lake George shooting 90% from the charity stripe. Fort Edward only 60%. So can Lake George get into those situations where they can create foul shots, especially late in the game, and will that put them over the edge?
I got you. Another thing you had mentioned to me was depth.
Yeah, depth. Lake George, Mackenzie Bennett, 46 points in the first 2 games. She scored over 20 points in the first 2 games. Nobody else got into double digits on that team. So another key to the game, can Fort Edward stop her? And then again, we talk about the late game situation. Fort Edward, 10, 11 players on and off the bench during the game. Lake George, only 6 or 7.
Oh my God! So you're asking in terms of stamina,
Correct.
right? You're saying how can they hang on in the long run?
Yes, stamina. As we said, stamina going to be really important. Experience, they're both even, but stamina, can Fort Edward have those fresh legs in the closing minutes of a close game, and will that put them over the edge?
One last question, Bob. Who should we be looking at? You mentioned Mackenzie. I knew that would come up. But give me a name, a player on each team.
Well, Mackenzie Bennett for Lake George, going to be the clear favorite. A couple of girls on Lake George, if they can start shooting 3 points behind the line, that supports the supporting cast. Lake George should be good. Alexis Thomas, who's actually the coach's daughter on Fort Edward, kind of took over for Brittany Sardino last year when she left.
Remember that name?
Yep, exactly. Sure. Only senior on Fort Edward last year was Brittany, and now Alexis Thomas getting that role. But Fort Edward does have a couple players that can get double digits in each of the game. Lastly, first 2 games for both teams were blowouts. They won by 30, 40 points.
Oh, my God.
That's not going to happen tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to see a close game. It should come down to the buzzer. Who can make that final shot?
Yeah.
And it's going to be one I'm looking forward to. The crowd should be big and loud.
Boy, I'm looking forward to it too, Bob. Thank you. That game, by the way, we'll have on Look TV on Sunday night at 8:30, right?
Yep, 8:30 on Sunday night. And I know one of the things that we always enjoy talking about, the people that help us put those games online, is our sponsors. And Who do we have sponsoring play-by-play this year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, please give us, let us just do a shout out to Glens Falls Hospital, big supporter of play-by-play. Geico National supporter. We have Hughes Insurance. We have Irving Tissue. We have Bonaccio Construction in Saratoga. Really want to thank them. And Rick Schrade, who's a local Geico agent, making a real name for himself. Without the support of these people and these companies, we wouldn't have play-by-play.
Exactly, and I'd like to extend my thanks to them as well.
Good, thank you, Bob. Good luck tonight. I'll be looking forward to the color commentary.
Looking forward to it.
And I just want to make a comment on the mascot.
Yeah, we
Is
got
that
a
our
new
play-by-play mascot?
He thinks he hasn't told me who's going to win the game. I couldn't quite understand reindeer language. I'm working on that.
I understand it.
We all know I know Vulcanese, but
Yeah, that's
but reindeer not quite there yet. So
I think we should name the mascot Shay. Don't you think?
Shay works for me.
Shay, what do you think of that? Oh, he said good. I think it has something to do with the glasses.
I think
so.
So,
Good, Bob.
too.
Good luck tonight. Great to have you on.
Thank you.
See this interview again? Head to our website, looktvonline.com.